and strange movement. This time around, it's all going to be just smooth as glass.
You look like you're just
there.
Tiptoe around with face of a stranger, quiet observer, never get too close. I see the world, but it's through this window. Another side to see. I'm ready.
stick with that and keep.
To know, not every story's written on a sleeve. Some stories take digging deep. Eyes wide open, words unspoken. Where are you going, darling? Where have you been? Stories to tell, emotions we felt, good and the bad in the hands we've been dealt. I wanna know why, I wanna know why you're the way you are. So many stories right in front of me. Some people climb to heights I've never seen. Too many falling down off their feet. These stories take digging deep. Eyes wide open, words unspoken. Where are you going, darling? Where have you been? Stories to tell, emotions we felt, good and the bad in the hands we've been dealt. I wanna know why you're the way you are. Why
Hello, everyone. It is Wednesday night, and that means Silverline Wednesday WHAM. We have a new format here. We've moved an hour ahead, and we have changed up a bit of our crew to allow you probably noticed the melodious, dulcet tones of Tim TK are not here. He has moved to a West Coast time, and he'll be doing his own show over there. My name is Scott Wakefield, and I'm going to try to manage things as best I can tonight. We've got a great crew, and we are going to be talking about some fun topics tonight. What exactly those are? Well, we'll just have to find out. We haven't put a name to them. And we are going to talk comic books, pop culture, movies, anything and everything. And if you are able to and want to throw in some comments, ask questions, and let us know what you've got going on and what you'd love to see from Silverline. And it can be anything comics related or movie related or writing related or arting related or coloring or penciling or inking or anything like that. We love to talk and hear what you have, hear what you've got going on, what questions you have. Before I forget, our show is brought to all of you by Daytona Beach Comic Convention. That's happening September 18th and 19th. And we have a huge group of Silverliners that are going to be there. It's very exciting. And if you are one of the fans out there who got your signature book, your autograph book, whatever we're calling it, make sure you bring that. You'll be able to fill out a lot of autographs there down at Daytona Beach, September 18th and 19th. And then we are also brought to you by historylist.org, historycamp.org rather. And they are partnered with History List. They have a history convention happening July 10th. So head over to historycamp.org, sign up for all their emails, and make sure you join in on July 10th to get all the history you ever wanted. Coming up right now, I guess, is my chance to introduce the crew. We've got some usual faces and some new faces for Wednesday night, and I'm really excited to have. I'm gonna start with a standby, a standard, a Wednesday WHAM standard. Mr. Dean Zachary is here tonight, and I'll let him introduce himself and tell you all where you can find him and what he is up to.
Hello, everybody. I'm Dean Zachary. I've been in the comic business since way back in the 90s. I've done work for Malibu and DC and Dark Horse, among others. And I'm currently, of course, working for the greatest independent comic book publisher of all time. That would be Silverline. And work with these guys. You can find my art on Facebook, Dean Zachary Artist. You can also find it at Comic Vine and Comic Art Fans for those who want to delve deeply into the archives. And looking forward to chatting with all of my colleagues tonight.
Thank you, Dean. I'm going to go around clockwise around my screen, and I've got Barb, a usual Sunday nighter, and she's now going to be joining us for Wednesdays, hopefully forever. To the industry. So Barb, say hello, tell folks who you are and what you're up to.
My name is Barb Kalberg. I have been an inker for 30 plus years. Again, like Dean, started out at Malibu and worked my way to Marvel, DC, Dark Horse, Image, Warp Graphics, now Innovation, and now I am the CFO of Silverline, and I also ink Cat and Mouse, or I'm finishing up the last issue that I will be inking of Cat and Mouse, and I am coloring Sirens, and I am the creator, co-writer, inker, and colorist of the award-winning Divinity, which just had a great Kickstarter with Scott and his Steam Patriots. It was wildly successful. I broke my last record, which was the previous Kickstarter, which was my goal.
It was also my goal to beat your last record too. So we did a great job. I'm very happy. So yeah, Barb, you need to have like hats when you introduce yourself like that. You need to have like writer, inker, colorer, producer, CFO, all those things while you make your introduction. Did I cut you off? I think I did.
No, I'm done.
Oh, man. All right.
Wasn't that enough?
That was good. Well, you guys all have the bona fides out there, so I never want to cut you off. And a sometimes Wednesday-er and a sometimes Sunday-er and a frequent contributor to all things Silverline, Mr. Jeremy Kahn. Say hello. Tell folks what you're up to.
Hey, long time no see. I'm here. Talk again on Wednesday. Hopefully, a couple more times after this as well. Right now, I'm actually in the middle of finishing up the last issue of recoloring Cray. I believe like issue 5 I'm on now. After that, just some covers. I have about 3 pages left for the issue, and we're all done with that. I'll be ready for that soon.
Perfect. Jeremy, and you do mostly coloring, correct?
Correct.
Okay, yeah. The times that you've been on, we've had some great. If folks want to go back to the archives, some of the coloring topics. Jeremy has tons of insight. Jeremy's got so much knowledge that I don't know what I don't know, and he let me learn. He taught me what I didn't even know I didn't know. So all the folks out there who are doing all the art side, it's a world that I'm completely unfamiliar with, and I love to glean as much information and wisdom as I can from you experts. So as Barb mentioned, if you've been following along with Silverline, we use Kickstarter to get our books out there. And the last campaign was in May, and we've been doing double features because we've got so many great titles coming. And we've been pairing up the titles to get them out there. And we teamed up Divinity #2 with my title Steam Patriots #1, and it was a smashing success. So thank you everybody who supported that. And if you're wondering about the status, where are my comic books? You're saying right now, they will be in your hands very, very soon. I've been talking with Roland and Tommy at Kablam Digital Printing, and the gears are moving, things are moving, and it's really just the extras, I think. Roland can correct me if I'm wrong, but I know for a fact he's waiting on a few of the stretch goals, and we hit a lot of stretch goals, and we I actually did a little better than we expected. So it's a little bit of a catch-up, which is a great problem to have. There's no catch-up that's coming with any of the stretch goals, but catching up is what
maybe some mustard,
maybe a little relish. You don't want those on your comic books. So that's the status of your comics and all your goodies that are on the way. And again, thank you everybody. And very soon, those 2 titles will be available at silverlinecomics.com, which will link you to Indie Planet, and you can order those. But every other title, and I would recommend grabbing Divinity #1 at the very least, if you did not grab that yet, and that you can get that now and take the time to see the great beginning of the award-winning story written by Barb, and be ready for Divinity #2. And R.A. Jones, yes, mm-hmm. Yes. Everybody did a great job. Yep.
Yes. And just to say something, that if you don't have back issues of any of the books, not only can you get them through Indie Planet, but any and all Kickstarters that we run will allow you to add on all of our previous books as add-ons to the current Kickstarter, which is a nice feature to have.
Right, and it's a great way to support the Kickstarter too. I mean, if you want to wait for the Kickstarter, then you add all those on, and it helps. It's a great time to support the current titles and Silverline by adding those on with your order. It's a great way to support and get everything you ever wanted from Silverline in one easy method. So tonight's topic, we maybe by the end of the show we'll give it a name, but we are going to talk about the worlds that we are creating, the Silverline world, and we always want to have everything focused toward the independent comic book world, but it's almost impossible to not talk about the big guys, because they drive the industry, have driven the industry for so long, and there's nothing wrong with comparing ourselves as indie creators with what the big guys are doing. They've got the budget, and they've got the writers, and they've been around for a long time. So everybody's trying to carve out their own niche, their own culture, and their own style. within the world, and we are in the comic book world. So I can't say that Silverline has solidified its course, and I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that, because there, as with any plan and with anything creative, there are so many variables where the stories, just like writing a single story, the story can start to write itself. If you think of any TV show, a lot of times you give a TV show at least a season till the characters find their stride and they have their shtick or their routine. A lot of times a show will change its feel from season 1 to season 2 because they figured it out. They figured out what works really well. And so Silverline is now getting all of its titles and getting issue number 2, 3, 4 out there, and the Silverline world is coming together, and that's really, really cool to see. So I am going to stop talking here for a moment, and I'm going to allow somebody else to join in if they want. So that's the topic for right now. We're going to talk about where the Silverline world might be going, where we maybe hope it's going, and how that fits in the world, the comic book world at large, and how our world can grow, the Silverline world. So anybody wants to join in,
Sure,
go for it.
Scott. I think a good place to start would be to sort of, since those of us that are here have books we're working on, sort of describe the content of each of our books, to give listeners just a brief thumbnail sketch of the books, and give them an idea of what the Silverline stable looks like, and then we can transition from that into talking about it more comprehensively. And I'll go ahead and start with mine.
Yeah.
The book I worked on early on for Silverline was A Cat and Mouse, which you see behind me, and I was the penciler for number 1 and have done the covers for subsequent issues, and have moved on to begin creating, writing, and drawing my own title called Silverblade. And it is an action adventure set in the Victorian era, and it concerns a battle between 2 secret societies. One, an offshoot of the Templars, a group of noble knights who are fighting human traffickers in London, and the other, a nefarious underground group, or cult, I should call them. And the 2 leading characters are a retired U.S. cavalry officer who is in London for reasons that become evident as the story unfolds, and a charismatic archaeologist who finds a silver sword. And through the course of the story, I explain why the metal silver has always traditionally been associated with destroying and defeating evil beings, be it vampires, werewolves, etc. There have been various explanations in literary history of why this works. So I'm going to go ahead and take my stab at it, and I'm keeping that secret until, of course, the story is told. So, Barb, why don't you tell us a little bit about sort of thumbnail sketch divinity for us? I'll hand that off to you.
Okay. I think that's cool. Silver Blade at Silverline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of neat. Huh?
Well, one of the things that I like about Silverline is that it is a genre-spanning independent comic book company, which means that we don't have to pigeonhole ourselves into a specific genre. Like Marvel and DC has, except for DC's, what is it, Elseworlds, or what was where they had Sandman? What?
Oh, gosh. They had yes.
I know, it just went right out of my head.
Yes, I know, right?
They had a series of books in it that were different, but mostly, you associate DC and Marvel with superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I mean, you have the occasional Conan or, Kung Fu or whatever like that, but for the most part, 90% of everything that they do is superheroes. And I like Silverline because we've got a mashup. We've got superheroes, we've got fantasy, we've got horror, we've got adventure, we've got more adult themed, we've got more family themed. We pretty much cover the entire spectrum of what a comic book company can produce. So somebody's going to find something.
Right.
Everybody's going to find something that they're going to love somewhere in one of the Silverline books. Uh, Divinity I created to be a family friendly, although it's got its fair share of violence, but I mean, what doesn't these days? Um, I created a family oriented book which has plenty of adventure and some violence and a lot of mystery and a little bit of mysticism. Uh, it's a story about a young girl who 11-year-old that her parents die under mysterious circumstances. Her name is Divinity. We call her Vinny. And her older brother Zach and Vinny. He's a Marine, 26 years old, and he really knows very little about his sister because he spent most of her childhood deployed or in the Marines, so they really don't know that much about it. So he comes back from the Marines because their parents are dead. His father and stepmother are dead, and they're all that each other have. And during the course of trying to figure out why his parents are dead, he discovers that she's got this mysterious healing power. And the reason that his parents are dead are because there are mysterious forces and evil cabal that are out to get their hands on her. I mean, think about it. If you knew somebody who could heal, wouldn't you do just about anything to get your hands on them? Just to heal a loved one or sell their services or uh, you know, worship that person. You got religious fanatics who are going to think that she's great or not. So they end up going on the run, and during the course of going on the run, he calls up an old friend of his from the Marines, Olivia Barnes, and she joins the group. And their main mission is to keep Divinity safe from those who would do her harm, try to take her, try to kill her, try to dissect her, to find out what she ticks, because she's the only person in this book that's got any powers of any sort. All the rest of the villains are ordinary, run-of-the-mill people that you would find in today's world. And let's face it, we've got plenty of scary stuff in today's world that we really don't need to make up a supervillain.
Right.
We've got plenty of evil to go around. So during the course of all of this going on, these two have got to learn how to become a family. He's a Marine. She's an 11-year-old tweener. You can see that this is going to be oil and water. The Marine wants to say, you jump, and have his sister say how high, and she says, screw you instead.
Right.
I don't know if any of you guys have had teenage girls, but oh my God, that could be an experience and a half. And I swear, Zach would rather be on the battlefield in Afghanistan than dealing with a tweener. So you have a couple of different plot lines going. You got the overall arcing plot line of the evil cabal after the little girl, and then you've got the subplot line of Zach and Vinny learning how to become a family, and Olivia Barnes going, "Oh my God, these two are driving me crazy." So.
And it works. It works quite well. I have to throw in.
That's it.
Jumped right in, and that first issue, it hooks you, and there's a cliffhanger at the end, and you just have to get the second one. So
Yep.
Great job with it. Absolutely. So Scott, what about you, my friend?
Well, the Steam Patriots world, I think steampunk falls into a sci-fi subgenre. I think that's where steampunk falls, and it is a historical fiction. I've taken real events, the American Revolution, America, real location, 1776, a real time, and real people, but I put in a fictional hero, and of course, I've added steam technology, so that changes what's going on at the time. But I wanted to make it believable. I love steampunk. Sometimes I think, and I know it's comic books and I know it's silly, but sometimes I think like there's no way a steam powered jetpack would ever work. I mean, it would never. It wouldn't. I don't know how you're going to load logs, into the boiler while you're flying along. I don't know, but it's fun. Like Steam Boy is a great movie. Loved it. But so I wanted to make it a little closer to believable. It is going to get a little fantastical, of course, but a little closer to real as best I could. So that world, in and of itself, if it's successful, and I hope it is. I don't want to say there are limitless possibilities, but the Steam Patriots world could just keep going. Timeline wise, linearly, I can't speak tonight. Through the war, through the Barbary pirates in the early 1800s, through the War of 1812, into the Civil War if we want. But then I don't even think it needs to. The American Revolution has so much going on and so many players, so many people that you could do a one shot this way and a spin off that way. And I'm excited about the creating the Steam Patriots world. And I have to stop myself because I have to stick to Felix and Ben Franklin, and Felix is his story, without getting off too far and getting distracted. I have other little ideas over here and there and little things plotted out. So I would love to have that happen. I'd love to have that world keep growing. So the potential is there for that world to keep going. And within the Silverline lineup, which like Barb was talking about, it's such a great mix. We've got some superpowers. We've got action hero style people. And in Barb's world, the Divinity world, just a little bit of a superpower, but it's a really believable world. Meaning you don't have outrageous villains. You have, because they're real, and like a real scary. Within the Silverline world, the Steam Patriots world, I hope it just keeps growing, and I'd love to keep that going. So that's the Steam Patriots world just started, and I tried to use all of my writing skill to set the setting, get the characters going, and not have it be too slow. I didn't want to have a slow burn where we learn about them. That you will learn more. I wanted just enough so people are in the action without being confused. I don't like that sometimes where it's like a flashback or you jump right in and then you have no idea what's going on until page 50 or something. So I wanted to get just enough where we know who the characters are. And that was really, I picked Ben Franklin so I didn't have to explain who Ben Franklin was. Very few people need an explanation. So, but he might not be around a lot. We'll see. You'll have to keep reading. So, that's I can't wait for the world to keep growing. I want people to keep reading it.
Jeremy, tell us what you're working on right now.
Well, right now I'm finishing up the last issue of Cray. I'm not sure how spoilers will work with this. The comic technically came out a good couple of decades ago, but
Right.
Basically, it's like a Conan Barbarian, type story where you have this guy who's raised by orc-like creatures. Don't know how to do this without spoiling too much, but basically his loved one gets killed. He goes over on this revenge quest against this monarchy type queen and everything. There's space lasers with swords and magic.
So kind of a classic
Oh, yeah.
fantasy style with
Yep.
magic. That's fantastic.
So would you say it's would you say it's sword and sorcery? I mean, is it?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like there is definitely sword and sorcery. Like first good 3-4 issues are basically all that. Then later on, you start introducing more of the sci-fi elements, like the laser guns and so forth.
Sure.
Oh, that's
But all
cool.
of it does take place in like a Conan type world where it's like a old like kingdom, desert landscapes everywhere.
It's nice. I mean, don't you get the feeling, Scott? I mean, we're really covering a lot of territory. This is wide
Yeah.
earth here.
Oh yeah. 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 I was looking. So I don't want people to click away from our stream here. I don't like directing them away. But always, everyone should go to silverlinecomics.com. Across the top is titles, and there's a drop down. And some of them have more information than others. Because the titles are growing and they're the active titles that are being worked on. But I like Cray. Cray's good. So it's silverlinecomics.com/title/Cray, and we got an image there, and it's like a barbarian story. That's that's the description so far. But it's there. So if folks want to see all of the titles, there's more or less information per title. But it's neat to see all of those titles that drop down. It's too big for my screen. I have to scroll up and down to see it all. So
And everybody's bio is on there too.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
So all the creators are there too.
And all the flattering images of us.
Yes.
The-
Mine includes all the projects I've worked on, so be prepared to
You got-
scroll for a long time.
Yeah. So the Silverline world, I don't know, Dean, if we wanted to talk about like thoughts, because we were discussing before we got started, viewers, that how our Silverline world could maybe overlap within itself. Now, as the Steam Patriots world, I don't see it fitting into the broader Silverline world.
It was all a dream.
What's that?
It was all a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all, yeah.
We'll have, when it all wraps up, we'll have some character that looks roughly like Roland Mann wake up.
We're gonna,
The end. It was,
Like the Disney guy got it.
we're gonna pull Bobby in Dallas.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
He'll come out of the snow globe and
Yeah. Like, what?
what?
What I thought we'd also just talk for a moment about if someone, obviously most of the fans are familiar with the big two, and if they were unfamiliar with Silverline, and you were going to suggest a Silverline book, and you were going to describe the world of Silverline publishing to them, would you say it's more like one or the other or neither, or would you say picture us more like Malibu, just to give them a foothold of, okay, how do I step into this world? Am I going to like this? Am I, before they read anything? What would you say, Scott?
I would say I would not make a comparison to the big guys.
Okay.
Because if you say Marvel or DC, you say Marvel, and now they're going to think, oh, world of the Avengers.
Sure.
Or X-Men.
Or X-Men, but yeah, I mean, right now Avengers is the thing. But yeah, X-Men, that world of the superheroes inhabiting the world, or mutants, and that's the big story. How the world handles mutants, how superheroes protect the world, and then if you were to say DC, well, we've got Batman, Superman, Justice League. So those worlds are superhero heavy, and they've been since forever. Since the 40s. It's. But I would be reluctant to compare Silverline to the big guys, but like Malibu, or we're an indie publisher, and so our stories are different, and I don't think, and we are not as superhero heavy because we don't need to be. We can have the sword and sorcery, or the espionage, or the crime fighter spy type people in our world.
Oh, I think it's it's naturally skewed towards Malibu because the original people that started
Yeah.
it were all Malibu
Yeah.
alums.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's my feeling exactly.
Yeah.
My feeling
Um,
exactly. And the other thing that leans me toward not just Malibu, but Marvel a bit in that, um, from what I can tell so far, the titles exist in our world. We didn't invent different cities, fictional cities. They exist in real cities. I mean, whether it's London or cities in the American Revolution or Divinity, from what I understand, exists in our world today, right, Barb?
that's correct. That's
And
correct.
what about Cray, Jeremy? Is that
It's a dream.
it's a dream? Okay, okay.
I
Well,
like
still,
that's like the distance. That's gets towards the distance past compared to
right,
everything else. I
right.
have nothing
There's
else to connect it to.
there's another book or two that take place in current time for Silverline, and I can't remember which titles they are because I'm thinking that obviously
Well, Cat and
Cat
Mouse
Cat
has
and
been.
Mouse and Divinity could easily cross over with Divinity and crew rolling into New Orleans
Yeah.
ro-
Yes.
and needing help from Cat and Mouse, who, by the way, are not superpowered. They're more along the lines of Batman,
Mm-hmm.
where they
Mm-hmm.
Right.
are
Right.
they are perfectly human but very skilled.
I was gonna
Very.
And
hope you could really get Craig would be like a Savage Land type storyline with all the characters going to.
yeah. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent comparison. I see that too. So I feel like I'm getting the Malibu vibe,
Yeah.
just sort of, you know what I mean? Just like Barb said, just by the very nature of the evolution of the worlds that came alive through the creators that invented them.
But yeah, the first half dozen creators we had were like all from Malibu. It was Dean and Roland and I to begin with, and it was like, oh, I know somebody else from Malibu that could jump in and do that. I know an old Malibu person, yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
so the first half dozen people were all Malibu people, and then we started finding very talented people that were started kind of hanging around us and like, yeah, come on in. One of your
Lurking.
yes,
Lurking.
Then he found the
Come.
talented people, and then he found folks like me and
and it was like.
clingy friends.
And it was like a spider going, step this way, come into my parlor.
Well, the attractive part for those of us who worked for many of the other publishers was that there wasn't a heavy-handedness to the editorial side at all. And being here from the very beginning with Roland and Barb, I at no time felt overly coerced, shepherded, influenced, or just overly edited. And for a creator, that is just really the best case scenario. Barb, did you feel like wide open, like when you obviously felt open enough to come up with your own storyline and
Yeah,
pitch it?
I
You
mean,
know,
yeah, because I mean, I was pushing the envelope. I'd never, I mean, I have to take that back. I did a 6-page written and inked piece for Warp Graphics for ElfQuest many years ago. I mean, 1994, I think it was. And that was the only thing I'd ever done. I just stuck in my little lane,
mm-hmm.
inking. So to step out of it and push my own personal envelope to get into writing and coloring was scary. But I figured, I'm of that age. If I better do it, I better get it done now.
Mm-hmm.
And Roland was like, "Yeah, jump in, just do it." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah,
So
that was refreshing, and also you probably felt this way too, Barb. That you know, as a penciler, we were just hired guns, as an
Mhm.
inker too, and you kind of, this was the script, and this is how it's done, and here are your fences and your limitations, and you work within this rule book, and this is what you do.
Yeah,
I mean, when I,
sometimes more diligently than others. You had some editors that would ride shotgun on you, but with a loose rein.
mm-hmm,
And then there was other ones like, believe it or not, working on Barbie was just they had such a tight control over every single panel
mm-hmm.
that you sweated every panel
Oh
basically.
yeah, oh
Because they'd
yeah,
go over it with a fine tooth comb.
when the Star Wars franchise was over at Dark Horse, that was so heavily observed
Mm-hmm.
that I had very tight layouts that had to be approved at Lucasfilm before I
Mm-hmm.
could do finishes. Every single page.
Yep.
Um,
Mattel was
DC,
like that with Barbie. Ugh.
yeah,
She
yeah,
could
and
only have 3 eyelashes.
Yeah.
you know, I remember there was a character that had a specific face tattoo, and I had the guidebook. They sent me the the character designs, and boy, I had this all that stuff taped up to the board, and you had to painstakingly make sure it was consistent in every scene and all that. And I completely understand that. What was nice though was here at Silverline, we get the opportunity to create our own model sheets and our own character bibles and our own character worlds, and hopefully we can find a way to cross them over. Scott, you'd mentioned that earlier. I think we talked about it in other shows that you can always use a tachyon field or a time portal, maybe transfer the
Yeah.
characters from one place to another.
We can
Also-
figure it
Jokingly.
out. I liked Jeremy's idea too. Yeah, yeah. If we just met the worlds collide and they overlap and they cross the barrier somehow, sure, why not?
Yeah.
I like that idea.
The Great Convergence.
Yep.
I think it was a Bongo for the Future Round Sisters crossover. They basically had the characters going through a comic book to the other world.
Yes, yes. I like that. I love that. Hey, before Stephen Brown on YouTube thinks we're ignoring him, he's got a question. So, we got Stephen Brown from YouTube asks, "Do we plan to make collectible figures later on down the road?" And I'm going to answer that. I plan to. I've been talking with some friends that are totally head over heels in jumping 2 feet with 3D printing, and they've been working on it. So you're getting a spoiler or teaser from the Steam Patriots world. Yes, I want to make. If you're talking about figurines or stuff, I would also love. Now, this is an idea that I haven't tossed out. I've been chewing on it with Dan and Rory and some other friends about a miniatures game in the Steam Patriots world. Now, that's something that's like way beyond the scope of my brain power. So I love the idea. I would need really smart people to help me figure that out. And how it would work, because there's going to be cool weapons in the Steam Patriots world. We're going to have Ben Franklin, Franklin boiler carriages, and we're going to have you guys have, if you've been watching the stuff I've been teasing, there's a cool machine on one of the last panels towards the last page. I don't want to reveal what's going on there, but it's a cool world that has the potential. So yes, for the Steam Patriots world, I would love to start making collectible figures. So I don't know what.
Absolutely. I would love to see Divinity have action figures. I think that's a bit down the road yet. We had talked about making the Divinity her necklace. And Roland, he does Trumps, which is a comic book based upon cards.
Yeah.
The aces, the spades, the clubs, and the hearts, right? Yeah. And they had talked about making a Trumps card game, which I think is fascinating.
Yeah. I love the imagery that trumps the whole span, and that the team that put that together did a fantastic job. Mm-hmm. from the whole thing. It's just a really visually amazing book, and the story's great too. But part of comic books.
And each character looks different.
Yes. Yeah.
I love that. I love that they all aren't cookie cutter superhero looking.
Right. And they're not quite superheroes, right? Because they're like almost like a Superman, because they're in another world, so they have their own set of abilities there. I think if they were to come to Earth, yes, they would be some sort of superhero, right?
Yeah. But the Jack of Spades has got this real slender build, and then this guy over here's got the more hunkier, and they all have they look like real life people. They are all the same size.
Right. Yeah.
Well, from the Silverblade world, yes, action figures, but also I plan to do this, and I've even done a prototype from one of the weapons already. But I want to create collectibles, particularly the silver sword itself. So that will somehow get made along with other artifacts from.
You know, the 3D printing potential, and I've been following it. I don't know much about it other than folks that I know that have them, little desktop things. But
Sure.
it seems like almost an unlimited potential with what you can make. I know that the materials are limited. You can't make an engine. You can't, but you can print what looks like an engine, or what looks like a sword, or what looks like a Millennium Falcon, and so many different materials. And now they're making printable metal parts. And I know they're not strong, but it's incredible. It's incredible. I have a friend he's getting started with making, because you can buy the files. People make these files, and he's printing off miniatures for his D&D campaign. So he's got all his player characters, and then he makes the monsters, and and he paints some of them. He's really good at painting, but that's tons of time, and he does have a job. So he's got printed miniatures. It's incredible in the detail that they come out with. And so why not? Because again, now we were not relying on big companies to make these action figures. We can print them off. It's super cool.
Yeah.
Will they have
so the
articulated
answer is
limbs?
yes.
So
You can make them. Yeah, you can make you can do the little guys that don't move, but you can make limbs and hinges and all the parts. And you can make them big. You can print a torso and the legs, and you could make full size, whatever size you want. It's pretty incredible, and that it's becoming easier and easier and easier to just buy one off the shelf and learn the software. And the design software is becoming much easier to use. People were starting off, you kind of had to have a CAD knowledge, and someone else that I know, they were using, I think it was CNC software, because it moved, the axes move in this way and print this way and that way. They were actually printing, friends of mine were printing reeds for bagpipes. They were bagpipe makers, and rather than messing around with a natural product of reeds and cutting them and shaping them, and because that's what woodwind instruments and bagpipes use, they got a bamboo infused plastic filament, and printed long ways like a plant would grow, and made reeds for bagpipes with a 3D printer. And so they could get a consistent product. It was pretty cool. It was pretty amazing. So that's just one example of an idea that you wouldn't think about that somebody thought about, and I think it's amazing.
Well, the other idea I wanted to just test with you guys is we're in a time now where primarily publishers who are independent are doing 4, 5, or 6 issue story arcs and then collecting them into trades, and that seems to be the template or sales model that works best. Do you guys as creators feel that that's going to influence how the Silverline character stable evolves? In other words, are you going to stick with the same title and just keep doing, 4 story arc collected, next 4 story arc collected? Are you going to branch off? Are you going to jump timelines? Are you going to do tangential stories? What are you guys' thoughts on that? Barb, what about you with Divinity?
Well, I'm going to jump it over to Jeremy here because he got skipped over on the last question.
Oh,
Yeah.
So you start off, Jeremy.
Well, I feel I don't have much say in how the story unfolds. I'm just coloring a thing.
Though, what I've gotten from my team, and I've enjoyed it, and I think it allows for it, is the teams can have some input. I know you get pretty much a final product.
Yeah.
But I think, and you are coloring a story that's done.
Yes.
You can't go back and say, hey, we should have done this. But
let's do a follower in line. Tell them to do another issue.
Right. I think that what's nice about the Silverline teams is it's small and we're fluid, and there's not the input for my story. I mean, I got input from my team it's great, and I was surprised that I liked it because I think group project is one of the worst phrases ever in the history of the world. I don't like a team of people working. I know that sounds horrible because like when you get a job, like how well do you work with a team? Oh, I'm a great team player. Yes, I love the synergistic motivations that we can. No, I want to just do it, and I don't want to rely on anybody. But with creating Steam Patriots, when I would write out the page, and it was a mix of full script and Marvel style. And for those of you out there, I sound like I'm so learned and I've been in the industry. Full script. You just describe, the writer describes every detail to the penciler. The penciler is the first line of art. Hero in the left side of panel 1. Hero is in the left corner looking to the right, and this is what he says, and this is what he does, and this is the tree that's over his shoulder, and that's full script. The Marvel style, or what's the other? They don't always call it Marvel style. It's
more
I guess,
plot.
does everybody call it Marvel style?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. I mean,
It's-
it's also called just a rough plot where
right, yeah.
you're told basically the page starts here and ends here.
Right. And so, and that leaves a lot for the artist to create. And so, because I'm working with new, it's a new story, new artist. It's a mix, and I've been very pleased with allowing the artist, because the artist is thinking even more visually than I am. And when the artist comes back with an image that most of the time it was very rare that I said, I don't like that. Most of the time it was, wow, your interpretation of my words has blown me away. So this all started with saying, Jeremy, I've enjoyed. I don't know if you have felt like that, but I have. If anybody on the Steam Patriots team was to come back with some thoughts, actually, when Dan colored, when Dan came back, but Jeremy, you colored,
Bloodline.
yeah,
Bearish 2-1.
yeah. So when the colors come back, I think that's another interpretation. You're part of the team. Like you're saying, you're seeing it, and the colors can really change.
Set the mood.
Yeah, and because who did Sid Van Blue did Trump's, and I know Roland said, "Go for it," and she came back with really vibrant colors, and so so the variant Dean's cover for Steam Patriots, when he did the pencils on that, when it finally got to colors, it was really vibrant. And it could have been more muted. It could have been. So, anyways, I think you can set the, like Barb said, set the tone, the last visual tone for the whole feel for the story.
Tone and ambiance.
Yes.
And I always I'll experiment a little bit, and show it to whoever's their side of it and see what they think. Like I was doing the Bloodline. There was a couple of these real nice impact pages, splash pages. So I decided just to knock out all the blacks on the page. Say, hey, I know I got rid of live inking, but does this look good to you? And with the create what I'm doing now, I'm doing something similar where I basically, like I mentioned before, when I was doing the first couple issues, I sort of went the full render route, and I figured, no, don't do that. So I actually bought the entire run of Tarzan from Marvel, went through all those to find out good. So basically, coloring now is very vibrant, very there's a lot more experimentation with the coloring now. The result, and Roland really likes what I'm doing with that now.
I like to get mood boards because I'll have a series of panels that are set at a particular spot or around a series of events. And depending on what those events are, if it's a somber event or if it's a violent event or if it's just talking heads or whatever, I'll get a mood board and I'll keep the colors consistent throughout that entire scene. So usually if it's a action scene with lots of violence, I'll have much brighter, more vivid colors, a lot of red, yellow, if it's a scene in, well, I have a scene in a big old English looking library, and I actually went to online and looked up English decor, and I picked out like somber greens and old golds and stuff like that, and put that stuff in there. So it's got to have a mood board for me. That anyway, for each set of scenes.
We in one of maybe was it my article for the blog, the Silverline blog. I think it was because we were talking about, Roland asked me to talk about how much work goes into creating a story, and all of us, we spend so much time, and we wish the readers, the consumers, could see, because people think, oh, I'll just color this. No, you knew what you wanted, or you had an idea, and you have to do all this research. People could see, but hopefully the end result is pleasing and they get it. We're coming up towards the midpoint. I want to give us the signal that we need to give our final thoughts about creating the world here, and then we'll switch off to our free for all and talk about a little more general pop culture topics. But the Silverline world, we kind of started talking about how we could put the stories together and how the Silverline world could fit. One thing I want, and I know it is infinitely easier with a smaller world like Silverline rather than the worlds of the big guys, is Dean, Barb,
Yes.
Jeremy, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like back in the 80s and 90s, they were much better about continuity. And you would more often see Spider-Man would comment on something Mr. Fantastic did. And you'd see down in the corner a caption would say, "See Fantastic Four number," and I feel like the worlds, the timelines lined up much better. And now, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, my time for reading comics has ebbed and flowed. I've missed big chunks here and there. Kids do that. So now I feel like there's no continuity in the comic book world. I feel like so-and-so does this and so-and-so does that, and they never meet, they don't overlap, they don't fit, and that annoys me. I really wish that there could be continuity, and somebody could say, oh, in issue 22, Spider-Man did this, and what's up, Jeremy?
I think there actually is continuity still, just unlike back then, there's no real editor's notes pointing you to the previous issue that happened. So, and since storyline is going for much longer now, it's harder to forget or know where the previous mention of it happened.
Okay. Yeah, and if Silverline was to start doing that, I would love it. I'd love it for it to say, "See Cat and Mouse number 3 or number 30." It would be really cool. If the worlds combined, we would need somebody in charge of continuity, and that can't be Roland because he's got too much going on.
I was going to say you'd have to have an incredible editorial.
That's a good job for an intern, you know.
Yes. They could say, actually, hey, all right.
Wow, we got new people popping in.
We're just past the 9 o'clock hour.
That's a great topic to start off on our next hours, talking about continuity. Somebody's got some screeching going on here.
And John is on the level,
if you will.
I read two books from Marvel, Avengers and Iron Man, and they both have Iron Man in it, right? The Avengers have Iron Man, and of course Iron Man has Iron Man, and they are absolutely they don't even come close to crossing over.
Right, they're doing it's like two different Irons Man.
Yeah, two different realities. Parallel dimensions.
Yeah. So we got some feedback. I don't know who that is because John's mic is off. So, is it you, Brent? It's you, Brent. No, it stopped. You clicked your. I'm gonna make noise. All right. Hey, we sound good. Can I am I allowed to introduce the newcomers? All right. I'm not going to introduce anybody just yet. So we do, folks out there, gentle viewers. We have new folks joining us. We have reached the halfway point, and we have been talking about the Silverline world. And I feel like we're getting our stride in the Silverline world, but we're going to change gears here in just a moment and talk just our general terms. We're going to go on the lighter side of Silverline and talk pop culture and movies. And this is the time for people to let loose and rant or tell us the greatest thing that they've seen. We were talking about the Silverline world, creating our worlds, and if our worlds, I'm going to keep saying the word world, if they overlap, if they fit together, and how the Silverline world can keep growing. I want to remind everybody that we are brought to you by and supported by and sponsored by the Daytona Beach Comic Book Convention, September 18th and 19th. Be there. It's going to be just Silverliners. Come meet everybody, get some autographs, buy some comic books. And we're also brought to and supported by historycamp.org. July 10th is their online history convention. Head over to historycamp.org and sign up for their emails. And I have been given the okay. We've got some newcomers. Sorry, not newcomers. They're old and they've been around for a long time, but they're new, jumping on the show right now. We've got John Medic III, looking very, very dapper and not feeling well. I'm told, right? Okay, and Brent has joined us as well. So, John, why don't you say hello? Give a quick intro, tell folks who you are and what you're up to.
Hi, everybody. I came in. I'm hearing like echo. Is it just me?
It's just you.
It's just you.
Standard. Hi, everybody. My name is John Medic. I am an editor at Silverline Comics. I guess I should probably throw this in here because Roland had sent me an email a couple weeks ago that he was changing my title to reflect my knowledge base and the fact I actually haven't been editing titles recently. And the title he was suggesting was going to be continuity editor. So as I came in the last couple minutes of that conversation, I'm like, yes. And Roland had said a couple weeks ago, he's like, oh, you can mention that if you want. And I'm like, cool. Perfect. And I hadn't yet. So that's something that's being discussed. And also the worlds combining. I know Roland's got some stuff going on with Champion and Miss Fury. Yes. And also when I talked to Roland about, my Bakery universe joining, we have 2 issues completely done, pencils and inks and letters, minus colors, of a world-building epic 5-issue miniseries. So it was cool to jump in when I did on this call. So
and I didn't want to speak out of turn about
freezing on me again.
It's okay. I didn't want to speak out of turn about your title, but I think you're going to be joining the Silverline, the bigger world of titles that fit well together. So that's awesome.
So you did. He told you. He warned you. I might mention.
I think. Well, you've kind of been teasing it for quite a while. I'm
a tease.
Yeah, we all know that. So we're we in the second hour. We can't keep talking about our Silverline world. We're going to switch topics, so you guys are here just in time. We're going to talk about pop culture. Jeremy has declared no, not even a little Loki talk, not even a bit. So, because I haven't seen it either, so I'm with Jeremy. No Loki talk, but I'm gonna have Brent say hello and tell us what he's up to.
Yes, I'm going to start talking now, and I'm hoping that I don't hecko and sound like the voice of God like John did, which I actually thought was kind of a cool effect.
Well, I kind of am the voice of God, but
Don't smoke me! Yeah, so it sounds okay? Okay. So I'm Brent Larson. I'm the creator and I'm the only writer. I'm the creator and writer of Payless, and I'm also the creator and writer of the upcoming books, Cape Town. So I'm an editor of nothing but myself. One day, one day I hope to be in that sacred rank. But until then, I'm just a lowly creator/writer.
Just toiling,
Enthusiast.
just hunched over the keyboard, churning out a story, churning out your pulp novels, and hoping to be a
Rants
hit.
against the government, letter bombs, yes, all that stuff. You will know my name.
Angry tirades, letters to the editor.
Yes. Yes.
So we've got a great crew, guys. Obviously, we are in our new time slot of 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern time, and we've lost a few to allow the expansion of the Silverline omnipresence. And Tim TK, most notably, he is producing the Tuesday show. Is that correct? Anybody nod? Yes. Does that sound right? I'm getting nothing.
Ryan to prove him wrong.
I think Tim TK is handling the West Coast Tuesday show. And he's taking some folks with him. And Barb is joining us now from Sunday, and it's awesome. The Silverline team keeps growing, and the titles keep growing. And I want to remind folks, silverlinecomics.com. You can go, you just mouse over titles along the top. There's a drop down. You can see all of our titles, and those are in various states of completeness because some of them are, as Jeremy was mentioning, older titles that were just black and white, and they were the stable, the Silverline stable, and now we're reviving them, and Jeremy is adding new life, bringing them to new vivacity.
Technicolor.
Yes, in Panavision and Technicolor. Jeremy's reviving them.
Way to violate trademarks there, guys.
Oh, Trekno color. He's doing an amazing job. So those titles are coming back and better than ever. And so the newest titles for those of you out there, thank you. Barb and R.A. Jones's Divinity #2 should be in your hands very soon, along with Steam Patriots #1. Those were funded on Kickstarter, and we thank you very much for your support. So in the second hour, it's become our habit as our topic fades a little, and we start to have awkward staring at each other. We run out of things to say. I mean, most of us. John doesn't run out of things to say. I like our second hour to be a bit more loose and free, and to talk about what's on TV and what's on the big screen, and what we've been reading and what we've been enjoying. It is not limited to pop culture or stories, but that's where we all kind of live right now, and that's our profession. So we can't talk about Loki. I'm sorry, it's too new, too fresh. Jeremy hasn't seen it. I haven't seen it. I honestly haven't even finished.
I haven't seen it.
Winter Soldier and Falcon yet. So, but I know what happens. I mean, how can you not know? The internet ruins everything. All the spoilers are out there. So, without spoiling, has anyone seen Loki? 2 episodes now, right?
3.
3. Okay.
Third one dropped today.
Okay.
Didn't it?
I watched the first one.
Are we? Where are we? Can I get a thumbs? Brent's giving a 3/4 thumb.
Make sure the perspective is correct.
Okay, John, have you watched any yet? He's frozen. Is he frozen?
I watched. No, I'm good.
Okay.
It's like y'all are frozen. Maybe it's just me. I watched the first episode. So after the first episode, I'd probably say the same thing as Brent there. 3/4. No spoilers.
Okay.
Some people thought WandaVision started off too slow, and Falcon and started off fast. I'm gonna find it's up some cool stuff. I'm digging it so far, and of course, like anything else, I trust them to pull it off well. So
Yeah, I kind of I'm assuming where Brent's going to go with his thought process too. My thought process, we're usually on the same page. I let it play, right? Let it play out. No need to, don't force it. Give it time and enjoy it. Enjoy it.
Yeah, pretty much. It's one of those kind of shows where you start out and you're like, there's a lot coming at me all at once.
Mhm.
And I'll be honest with you, the Wonder Man storyline isn't my favorite. And when the Watchers subplot started to enter, I'm kidding. I just made all of that up. But don't worry about it. Yeah, it's not grabbing me quite as quickly as the other two, but you can tell that they really just got a story they want to tell, and that's good.
Okay.
I'll stick around.
Okay.
I mean, it's
I
Marvel.
believe-
I really have to. I think I'm contractually obligated. It's a contract I don't remember signing, but I think I'm contractually obligated to be there. So.
I believe there's a first for the Marvel TV shows with the first episode of Loki. Without going into spoilers, I don't recall, and people tell me if I'm wrong, did either Falcon and Winter Soldier or WandaVision actually have any film scenes edited into the TV show as a recap?
Don't think so.
No, I
So-
thought
so that was
Falcon and
actually-
Winter Soldier didn't it? Didn't it have a couple of little flash?
See, I couldn't recall. That's why I was asking. The greater brain
Loki did.
meld here. But so there were definitely, that was very noticeable to me that they did in Loki.
Okay.
That was kind of a first, at least on that level. Spoiler free, of course.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to Chris Pratt's The Tomorrow War. That's on Amazon Prime.
Yes.
I don't know if it's dropped yet or not, but I'm definitely planning on watching that.
I want to say it has.
We're about 4 or 5 weeks behind, 6 weeks behind on everything. So
Yeah.
our lives are crazy. You would think, because we're retired, we'd just be sitting around eating bonbons.
Yeah.
But no!
Yeah, the weather got warm here, and it's been garden and lawn mowing, and then we had a little vacation. So yeah, I haven't watched. I'm way behind. I haven't watched anything in weeks. So I've got a lot of catching up to, and I don't know when I'm going to do that.
We've got grandkids. We've got trying to clean up my brother's estate. I've got artwork. We've got 400 things going on at once, and I'm like, we need a retirement from our retirement.
Right.
And then a couple of days ago, I dropped something on my iPad and shattered the screen. So
yeah.
here I just told the crew on Cat and Mouse that I'm really inking up a storm, and then finally, and then I cracked the screen. But we have a great place here in Madison called You Break It, I Fix It. And they replaced my iPad screen, and I got it back.
Excellent.
That's
Afternoon,
actually two backups
so-
of my equipment. Main one and 2 backups.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
It's like, no.
Oh man, that's scary. Ugh. Yeah.
I had everything backed up on Dropbox, fortunately, but yeah, I am very paranoid about losing my art, so I back everything up on Dropbox. I have a purchased Dropbox account because I need all the memory I can get so I can stuff everything that can possibly be lost.
Right.
On there just for this reason.
So what else? What movies are on the horizon that people are looking forward to? Books, stories, anything that's out there that you're really excited about. And John, you are an educator. You got summertime coming up, right? Gonna life freeing up a little bit.
Yes, and no, not really. Because I'm an educator and administrator. So we go year round, and I'm actually teaching a class this summer.
Oh boy!
So my summer reading is teaching teachers discovering computers.
Oh.
So this is my summer reading. It's the class that I'm teaching. We started last week. I've got 14 students in class. It's an online course. They're delightful.
Yeah.
It's been great so far. So it's a good start to the summer.
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
Ah. Has
Yeah,
anyone started watching Invincible yet?
Oh no, that's on
I have not.
Netflix. Yes, that one's
All right, I gotta write that one down.
very violent, right?
Yep.
The first episode was
Okay. Yeah, I will probably wait to with my youth in the house. I don't have opportunities to watch.
And as much as I love Derek Robertson, one of my former pencilers, I cannot get into The Boys because it's just so dystopian.
It is.
Oh, The Boys was great.
Which one? What?
The Boys.
The Boys.
I enjoy The Boys,
yeah.
but I feel like I need a palate cleanser when I'm done, like something light, like Scrubs or something like that. To take the bitter taste of The Boys out.
Yeah, did you see announced the Scooby-Doo Crowley Dog crossover coming out?
Oh my god!
I
want my heroes to be heroes. I don't want them to be the villains in the story. You know.
But you've got Carl Urban, and Carl Urban I trust.
Yeah,
from Bones McCoy to Dredd to Billy Butcher. I think we're watching it for different reasons.
I can be just
but he is awesome. He has a very reserved language in The Boys. Very reserved with his feelings and his use of language. So that's kind of nice. Yeah, that's sarcasm. Starlight's hot. Definitely. So, but yeah, I like it. And I think that they're kind of rounding the bend with bringing maybe some more heroics back to at least some of them.
Yeah, they're bringing Jensen Ackles on as Soldier Boy. So he'll be making an appearance halfway through season 3, I know.
One thing for not as violent but still dark, at least for a younger audience, definitely check out Camp Cretaceous.
Camp Cretaceous. That sounds like a horror show.
It's basically a young adult animated series on Netflix based on the Jurassic Park series.
Oh, so it's not lobsters like eating people.
No.
Or exploding heads. No exploding heads.
Camp
but there, like I say, there are people who do get eaten.
No Cretaceous period.
There were some dinosaurs that had mental powers. So, Huh.
That's what Goldberg talked
They're the ones that pulled the comet to the Earth.
Yes. We deserve this.
I started listening.
And that's a new story, I think.
Didn't we do that Dinosaurs for Hire at Malibu?
I started.
That was there.
I started listening to Jurassic Park. I read it way back, and started listening to it. And I started listening to it on a very late drive home from Maryland. And it's a great book, but I forgot how slowly Michael Crichton books start. He starts off with action, and then he does a lot of building. In Jurassic Park, it's like all of this happens, and then someone's putting all the pieces together. And it was not sufficient to keep me awake at about 11:30 p.m. Midnight driving. I could not.
The river rafting scene as well goes forever.
Which one?
The river scene.
Oh, really? Oh,
in the book.
Yeah, I've forgotten that. Okay, I don't know how many hours into the audiobook, but they're just now starting the tour. They've hopped in the Land Rovers. They're Land Rovers in the book.
So remember, now the more violent, more action-packed stuff actually more movie focused. A lot of stuff's not in the book actually.
Right.
It's got to be more exciting than what I'm listening to right now, which is the history of the kingdoms of old Great Britain.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
But I find it interesting.
Oh, I love that sort of stuff. Yeah, for a while I was.
Kingdoms only lasted 8 months to 2 years, and there was somebody else.
Did you read the story a couple years ago, and probably more than a decade ago? And I'm gonna. Richard III, right? He was the last Plantagenet king before the Tudors, right? Mm-hmm. When they found his skeleton in the parking lot. Did you read about that?
I did.
Yeah, that was very interesting.
I'm up to William the Conqueror right now.
Okay.
So.
Yes, 1066, yes.
Now you're going off.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1066. Yeah, that was a pretty key year. Yeah.
Battle of Hastings.
Yes, that's where I'm at right now. Battle of Hastings.
Richard III, they were excavating, and they started finding things that, of course, were of this era, and it's in England, and so it's much more interesting than excavating in North America. And they found they started finding bones, and they it's where a battle was and where a monastery would have been, and they ended up finding his skeleton. He's the king that history's iffy on whether he locked his nephews up in the Tower.
The Tower of London?
Some people say yes, he's responsible for their deaths, and some people say they got away. And
no, they were murdered.
Yeah,
they threw him over the edge.
Yeah, so it was an interesting book how they found his body, his skeleton, under a parking lot, and somewhere in the 1700s they had built something so his feet were gone. They found everything but his feet, and they dug, and they were like they were in a couple feet of where he was. It's pretty interesting.
Well, here's a little interesting thing. A lot of times, if you didn't fit in coffins back then, they just chopped off your feet to make you fit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Even the king.
It's a lot easier that way.
Yeah.
No respect.
So,
yeah, look up Richard III. It's an interesting story. But yeah, Barb, I love that sort of stuff.
I can see our audience going.
Yeah, I know.
These two going on about history.
I'm curious who's doing the narrating. Is it I'm assuming it's a British guy. It would be cool if it was like Sam Elliott or something like that.
Oh, no. It's a very, very cultured British woman. And I just love the way that the cultured British rolls off their tongues. I'm part British in my background, so I love British history.
It's a funny thing how we associate that culture with their accent, and they don't. And I'm sure we could get our resident Englishman Peter Clinton to chime in. But what's also funny is how in any movie, especially movies that take place 200 years ago, the villain is always British.
Yes, it sounds so.
Why is
that? That accent was completely fabricated.
At the time, so like this is in my Steam Patriots research, that the British accent as it is today was not what it was in the 1700s.
It's fabricated.
Right. It's an affectation that has come to be as it is now. It's Rhotic, Rhotic. That accent. It's also similar to like that New England where they take the R. The R goes away. Whereas the British would say the caw, and we say the ka. So that it's a rhotic
the ka, the ya.
Yeah. Ugh. I can't say that.
It's affected to separate the classes. Is what they did.
Yep. And so any movie or any representation, like The Patriot or something like that, they would not have had it. It would have been different, but it would not have been as it is now. There you go. That's your history lesson, everybody, and that's why you.
What it did sound like?
What's that?
Did anyone know what it did sound like?
I think they sounded like Eliza Doolittle from.
Come on, My Fair Lady.
My Fair Lady.
You mean the Rhine and Spine?
The Rhine and Spine stays mine.
The Rhine and Spine.
Go! Yes,
that's
what they sounded like. Yes, and anybody that's watching in England, we apologize.
Yes.
All of our
butchering
our adoring fans.
They look down on Americans.
Trying to get them to do
suck it, Britain.
Yeah. Southern accent, and then see how well they do.
Yes.
Huh.
So my takeaway: they don't sound like Dick Van Dyke. Got it.
Yes. Why couldn't they get a
Van
British
Dyke is
guy
my role model.
to be what's his name in Mary
The
Sherry
cheesy
Bobbins?
sweep.
Completely original creation.
Like Ricky Rouse.
Well, it's probably the same reason why they had Robert Downey Jr. playing Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah,
he did a fairly decent job of the accent, but it probably would have been better to have an actual English.
Right.
And but
also
I'm
did Dr.
complaining because
Dolittle.
I love RDJ.
Dr. Dolittle. That's a great marvel of filmmaking.
Horror.
If you read behind the scenes stories, the visual effects team, that is fun entertainment.
Which one? What's that?
Behind the scenes of how they made Dr. Dolittle, Robert Jr.
Oh.
It's
Okay.
it's really fun. I mean, not fun from there end, obviously.
Yeah.
As much as I absolutely adore RDJ, that movie was a horror. I have to admit.
I applaud you guys for giving it a shot. I just looked at the reviews and I'm like, oh man,
Nope.
I could watch that, or I could hit myself in the face with a hammer, and it would take less time. Huh?
Save some money.
Yeah.
I've already got the hammer.
It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad.
I do enjoy the original, and that's 2 Rex Harrison movies now that we can reference. Okay, all right, folks, back on track. Movies on the horizon. We keep
Space Jam.
talking. What's that?
Space Jam.
Space Jam. Scott was so
Okay.
blown away he froze. His internet couldn't handle the thought of Space Jam.
Is this a continuation of the Michael Jordan plot, or is this a standalone story? Do we know? Do we know
It seems like
anything?
it's standalone because they changed the world rules in this one. Now they don't live in the center of the earth; they live like in a cyberspace place.
Okay.
I'll bet you they'll give it a shout out, though. I bet you they will.
With the
How
original?
about this
Sure, why not?
second Venom movie?
Oh, I did not know that was a thing. I missed
Oh, yeah.
that. When is that?
I want to see that.
Yes.
Ooh, okay.
Suicide Squad. Did you?
Good.
Okay.
10 points. 10 points for using a gape. There you go, John. You're you're leading the pack. I'm agog by your use of a gape.
I'm Barb.
I'm Groot.
Barb, my goodness.
Say.
That was good job. Well done. Woo. I will be, and I have not announced this yet. In a few short weeks, my son and I will be driving for many, many weeks across the country in a small car. So, I may or may not be hosting Wednesday nights on and off. It'll depend on my connectivity, and it'll probably be with my phone. So movies for the next 4 or 5 weeks may not happen. You said July 8th for Black Widow, really? Ooh. Okay. Yeah, that's one I really. Oh no, I will be at a family reunion in West Virginia, so I will see that.
Does anybody know when Dune is coming out, or has
The local
has it
theater.
come out?
I think it's. I want to say October. I want to say October.
I thought August, but maybe
I
maybe
want to
it's
see
October.
that one. I wanna
Yeah. All the big movies from last year being pushed into a very
Yeah.
narrow time frame. So I want to see The Green Knight. Have you guys seen the trailers for those?
No.
As in Gawain in the Green Knight.
I don't know. Maybe it's
Does it
like-
take place in the King Arthur time?
Is it
the trailer makes it
Then
look
it's
like
Gawain.
it does.
Richard the First? Are we?
What, Hamana? Yeah, they do. Dev Patel is in it.
Oh,
and
John.
he has a rep show. Yeah, maybe it is Gawain. Interesting. But it's an A24 production, and I love those guys. They're great. So
What do they do? What else have they done?
they do a lot of kind of art house kind of movies, like they did Midsommar.
Oh, yeah, that's an
Um,
interesting one.
Yeah.
They did the Lighthouse. Okay.
Did they do The
Okay.
Lighthouse? Oh,
Okay.
I didn't say they were 100%, but
No, the Lighthouse is the one with
Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, yes. I was so excited. Like, first of all, I love. I saw it was like a sea story. It's a lighthouse. It's like and it's filmed in the 1:33 aspect ratio, and it's all very like 1940s, 30s, like 90-degree angle, and then the black and white. I don't even know how they film it like that, but it looks like the old film. I couldn't understand. I could. The movie ended, and I think the most confused I've ever been at the end of any movie, thinking what just happened. And then I looked it up, thinking, okay, people on the internet are smarter than I am, and all of the reviews said the same thing. We have no idea what just happened with this movie. That's The Lighthouse. But
yeah.
I heard there's another Matrix movie coming out.
Yes.
With Keanu?
No, Agent Smith.
Is it going to be Keanu Reeves?
Trinity's bad.
Oh, Elrond.
What?
Yeah.
He was in Lord of the Rings.
Elrond. Hugo, right?
Hugo Weaving.
Yeah. Weaving.
Hugo Weaving.
Yeah. He's been in a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the part where they get to Rivendell and Elrond comes out and says, "We've been following your career for some time now, Mr. Bag." Yeah, Archie was there and everything. Yeah. It's the mashup of the properties. No. That's
Hugo
true.
Weaving.
Oh, there you go.
Nice. Mm. Mm. Yeah.
Movie.
No one's ever said anything about Anakin, so maybe we should start, huh?
Has
Oh
wait,
no,
John, I forgot. I helped a friend clean out a house, and we found not one but 3 Laserdisc players. So let me know if you need one. and a video disc. The record ones, the video disc players. Yeah. Needle. Yes. And one of the discs he had, Star Wars. Yeah. So, yeah. Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know. Yeah. Interesting.
Wow.
I didn't know.
Like they skipped the whole Death Star part, right?
Yeah,
They just went straight to Yavin.
it's like the animated Lord of the Rings, and so the Fellowship went off and had a great day. The end. Yeah.
The route
Tune in
Bakshi
next time,
version?
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were so abbreviated, they skipped the 2 towers straight to Return of the King.
Exactly. Bum 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 bum.
Are we talking about the rotoscoped one with Ralph
Yes.
Bakshi?
Yes.
The best one, the best of them all.
I hate
So
rotoscoping.
check that off. No. Bakshi, Ralph Bakshi.
Heavy Metal,
Yep.
Fire and Ice, Mighty Mouse.
Okay.
Yeah, but he rotoscoped all the big battle scenes and
Yep.
horses, and I'm like,
Yep.
that looks compared. Next
Oh,
to
Cool World.
the animated.
Yes.
Cool World,
comics and
yes.
everything.
Yes.
Yeah, Cool World was his too. But
We-
it looks
Hollywood if she
so
could.
starkly different that it threw you out of the show.
But it
the
is
movie.
a marvel of movie making. Again, I've used that phrase twice now tonight. It is wonderful. In fact, Peter Jackson even grabbed scenes from the Bakshi version to use
I love Ralph Bakshi. I just didn't like the rotoscoping.
You got to watch it though. Like, and I forced my children. You will watch this. And just like me at the end of Lighthouse, they sat there through the Bakshi Lord of the Rings. They're like, what is going on?
And then after DCFS came,
Yeah, I know, right? We heard some weird stories.
Well, if you make them sit through the rotoscoping on Ralph Bakshi, then you have to make them sit through Sinbad and Jason and the Argonauts.
Jason and the Argonauts, yes.
So that you can see Harryhausen. You know.
Yeah.
I love
Harryhausen. Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like I have raised my children well by forcing them to watch horrible movies, and they are Mystery Science Theater 3000 fans. We have watched many episodes of that. But yes, and also I make it an annual. I watch the Rankin Bass Hobbit. That is, and I have the soundtrack because they made the record as well. The record is different than the movie, just a little.
I listen to that record dozens and dozens of times.
So it's on my phone. Yeah.
Oh, so to bring it back to Space Jam, we're talking about.
It's on my phone. We listen to that.
What was it?
What's that?
I was saying they basically Warner Brothers just put out a Mystery Science Theater 3000 version of Space Jam using the Teen Titans.
That sounds cool.
Really?
It aired a couple days ago, apparently.
So is this like the Teen Titans Go version,
Yes.
I'm assuming?
Yes. They basically sit down with the aliens from the Space Jam movie and watch the Space Jam movie while commenting over it.
Where does one find this?
It was on Cartoon Network. I don't think it's available digitally yet, but it did air like 2 days ago.
Okay. See, and I have to, and I've also created monsters because we will watch movies now, especially old cheesy movies or like Christmas movies that we've seen 1,000 times. And my kids will MST3K them, and my wife will lose her mind and tell them, "Shut up! Just watch the movie."
It's not a participation sport.
I know. Just let me enjoy Rudolph, will you please?
Talking about like raising our kids right and making them watch stuff. When I was a kid, we had boys' night out. My dad and I'm an only child, and for weeks, anything I wanted to do, I wanted to see Star Wars. So saw it like probably a dozen times in the theater in 1977. So my kid heard those stories growing up, hated Star Wars. I was like, yeah, you're adopted or something. And when the new Star Wars stuff like dropped, the merch, he really like kind of dug Kylo Ren. And so we went and saw, of course, the first one, preview night, and he's like, can we go every week like you did with Grandpa? I'm like, hell yeah! So for 22 weeks, we saw The Force Awakens in theaters. We were driving an hour 15 to the closest theater at the end. As long as it was in Illinois, we played it, or we watched it. Then we saw Rogue One 20 times, 19 times. Same thing with Last Jedi. Solo sucked. We saw it once. And then, yeah.
I liked Solo.
I like Solo better than Rogue One.
Yeah.
We didn't, and well, I want to go back to the Rogue One thing. The actor I did not like, and that kind of just ruined it for me right there. And I don't think we really needed to check out Han Solo's like past, but that was just me. But the one pet peeve I have with Rogue One going into, and Brent, this ties back to when you were talking about, they cut out the Death Star part. I wanted to throw this in. I hated the fact with Rogue One where they left it off, chasing Leia. Sorry, spoilers? Is it too soon? It's like 2016, right?
Yeah.
You mean they blow up the Death Star? How could you spoil that for me?
When they did the chase scene with the ships in Rogue One, they're going the opposite direction in Episode 4. At the very end, they're going this way. Episode 4 is supposed to take place like 10 minutes later, going this way. I'm like, really? You couldn't aim them in the right direction? So that's always kind of set bad with me.
We didn't notice they did a U-turn.
No, and they did not rotoscope it.
Well, maybe they called them some pals and said, "Hey, man, we're all alone. Why don't you come hang out with
Maybe it
us?"
was just from the opposite side view.
Maybe they were going back because, like me, it's like, oh crap, did I unplug the iron? So they went back to check. Yeah,
Maybe
turn this TANF 4 around.
Maybe
in
they
one
were
episode, it's a bunch
selfie
of people watching from the left, and the other episode
selfie
is people
camera.
watching from the right.
It was
Yeah.
reversed, right?
That
I
must
did
be
notice on the screen when I was showing the book, I saw it like reversed too. I'm like, good thing I can read backwards. So
All I know is when they get the plans, and then suddenly Darth Vader pops his lightsaber, and I'm like, "Oh, this film just got 5 times as good."
that
But
was
it ended,
awesome.
what, in 5 minutes? Oh my
That
God.
was not even, yeah, but that was the Vader we all wanted to see on screen. That was amazing. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
And of course, like Mandalorian stuff, is that still like spoiler zone? No.
I don't think
That's
so.
safe,
Go
right?
for it. Go for it.
Okay,
Spoiler
so-
alert. There.
Okay, spoiler alert in case you've been in a cave. You know, at the end of season 2, when Luke shows up and we don't know it's Luke yet. Nice, Scott. Good job. I saw that face like, that, you know, the way that Luke was going through and just ripping through all the droids and stuff was very much a parallel to the Vader from Rogue One. And I didn't even pick up on that until I
Black
read it. And I'm
cloak
like,
and all.
what's that? Oh,
Black
yes.
cloak and all.
Yep, exactly. So I was like, oh my
Rolling
God,
up
that
and-
is like, you know, bookended. That's pretty cool. So, yeah.
Yeah.
They did a really, really good job
So,
of. I mean,
how come-
you don't see much of him, but they did a really, really good job of CGIing a young Luke Skywalker. There.
Now, you know who I thought it was actually playing him at first? You know, just first instinct. And Barb, it seems like you like some of the very good-looking guys. Do you know Matt Lanter, the actor Matt Lanter?
Nope.
Okay, so you know of him. I learned of him from Timeless, which is one of my all-time favorite TV shows. Fantastic actor. He's also been the voice of Anakin in the Clone Wars cartoon all the way through the current iteration. And in The Mandalorian, he showed up. Do you remember when Mando was helping the bunch of baddies with the rebel ship that was like the, what was it called? Like the prison ship? And the one mercenary killed the rebel pilot. That was played by Matt too.
Oh, okay.
He was also in that new show that just got canceled. Was that Jupiter Ascending, Jupiter Rising? All About Jupiter, something Jupiter. He was in that show too. But anyway, I thought it was Matt Lanter playing him because like the face was just so dead on, looking like him. And I was like, wait, no, that's not. And that's when I was like, damn, that is like a de-aged, you know, Mark Hamill, and it did look good. It really, really looked good. So the things they could do these days, it's amazing. Came a long way from like Tron Legacy with that bizarro looking Jeff Bridges. That was just creepy.
Oh, yeah.
See, I haven't seen that.
I did
Oh,
not
really?
like it.
It is beautiful. Did you see the original Tron when it came out, Barb?
Years ago.
Yeah.
I would need to watch it again before I watch Tron Legacy, which is my plan, because I got to refresh my memory.
Legacy is beautiful. It adds some layers. Story-wise, I still like hold to the original 1980. But just the beauty of Legacy, it is, oh my God, I saw it, I was working at a school that's out of business now, so I'm not going to get in trouble. I took an extended, 3-hour lunch break one day, and went and saw it on the IMAX, and I am so glad I did. There were, me and 2 other people in the theater, at 11 o'clock in the morning, and just experiencing it that way, it was fantastic.
I still go by Tron 2.0 is the official sequel.
Oh, the
game.
the cartoon?
Oh,
Oh,
the
the
game.
game. Oh, the game.
Tron 2.0.
Gotcha.
The gameplay aside, the storyline was excellent.
I've never played that.
At least looked like a playthrough for it, because like I said, the storyline itself is really good.
What system was that out for?
Most consoles at the time, PlayStation 2, Xbox, GameCube, and PC.
Okay, so that generation. Cool, thank you. Cool. Huh.
Wow.
I'll have to check that out.
The best face mashup is Superman in Superman versus
no! You're talking Justice League?
Yeah,
when
oh,
they
yeah.
CGI'd out his mustache? So how many weeks do we get away from not having you host? Not just saying I'm looking forward to it or anything, but I think I just lost all respect. I think I just defriended you on Facebook.
Well, you know
And
like that.
You know what they did in Avengers is that they decided to come back after the show was completed, or the movie was completed, the first Avengers movie, and shoot the scene where they're all eating shawarma.
Yeah.
And Chris Evans at the time had a mustache for the role he was currently playing, so he just pretended like he was really tired, and he
Oh.
Wow.
he had this mustache.
That's a lot better than Superman.
He did it like this, and they shot his angle that it was just enough to hide his mustache.
Yeah.
Captain America.
Oh, that's funny.
Eating
Oh,
shawarma.
that's cool. I never
That's
knew
funny.
that.
Why couldn't Superman just pretend like he was tired?
Or eating shawarma.
That's right. Superman's eating shawarma, and Batman attacks. Get up! I need shawarma.
It could come
Yeah,
down to
shawarma
fight.
day.
The dude was dead. He's been resurrected. He needs a sandwich. Come on,
Yeah, right,
come up
come
with
on.
some food.
Damn it.
Feed him.
You know, it's not that he went bad. He had what's that called?
He
He
was
was
hangry.
angry.
He
Yeah,
was
and that's a
hangry.
real thing. I didn't think hangry was a real thing. And then
Oh.
I started dating my girlfriend. And like one night we went to a concert right before pre-COVID, and she hadn't eaten, and then she was starving, and every place was closed. Oh, hangry's real. Hangry
is a-
scared me. I'm still like not okay.
Traumatized. You need
Yes.
therapy for that one.
PTSD. Yeah, therapy.
As a man who suffers from hangriness. Yes, it is a real thing. Do not make someone angry and hungry.
Keep
Ba-
a Snickers
bad
in your
things
bag.
Now
Yeah.
wait, let's back up a second. Is hangriness a word, or would it be more like hanger, or hang?
Hangriness could be a thing.
Because if you're is angriness a word?
No,
No.
or is it?
Is hungriness a word?
Anger is a word.
Anger is a word, and hunger is a word.
So it would be
Hanger.
Hanger.
It would be hunger.
Hanger.
Or anger.
Okay.
A hanger. Isn't that where they keep the ships?
the hanger.
Yeah, that's right.
the
And the
airplanes
hanger.
are in the hanger, the hungry anger.
Where are you putting that Snickers bar? Oh, next to the ship. You know,
In
it's by the stealth bomber.
Taking care of the hanger.
Yeah, it's there
Yeah.
next to the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, they are involved in it.
Now that when Barb said of the Millennium Falcon, I don't know why this just popped in my head, but if any group's going to appreciate it, I wonder if the Millennium Falcon could ever hit 1.21 gigawatts.
1.21 gigawatts. Yes. That's another topic. We should talk. Maybe we should have an entire episode. Man, we could talk forever about plot holes. Wow. If we want to just stick to Star Wars, Star Trek, Back to the Future, Indiana Jones, my goodness, we could have.
And there are only 3 Indy Jones movies.
I know.
I feel obligated to say.
3.1 is coming, or some whatever you want to call it.
Oh yeah, I heard just today. I heard that he's making another
Yes.
Indiana Jones. I mean, what
Have
are
you
they
seen
gonna
the
do?
photos? Look up the photos of it.
Yeah, I saw some of the set photos too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
like-
what's the Brent the Simpsons episode where it's like Star Trek 12? So very
So
tired.
The Klingons are attacking off the port bow again with the Klingons.
Again.
I still wish they do a young Indiana Jones type thing with the 5th movie, where just him bookending and having the younger.
What that wasn't that called the
Right, fourth
the Adventures of Young Indiana Jones, and they
That was a good series. I liked that when I was a kid.
yeah. And the actor, he's the guy. He's in Boondock Saints. What's his name? Not
Patrick Leonard? Is that what it was?
yeah, not the Walking Dead guy. Not Reedus, the other one.
John-
He was-
wasn't it John Patrick Leonard?
I don't know his name.
It was 3 names. Anyway.
Yeah.
He was
That
the
actually
end
was a good series, and Harrison Ford did make a cameo appearance in one episode.
Do you have like an eye patch or some type of bandage or something?
Yeah, the old like Indiana Jones. He did. He had an eye patch.
He's
Because he
79
would-
years old. How is he going to play in Indiana?
He
If you're
really
breaking
With a
his-
broken hip half the time.
Harrison, we know you're watching. We love you. But you're.
We love you so much. No one else was able to be Han Solo. That's why I hated that film.
We're concerned about your health. This is elder abuse. We're really concerned.
Well,
This is for
they
someone
drove a
who's in
dump
their
truck full of
60s,
money
so,
to
you
his
know.
house.
I know.
Buy a plane to his house full of money.
Yeah.
Was I supposed to say no?
I'm not
Yeah,
trying to be ageist here because I am the oldest, probably the oldest one here in this group. But
Barb,
the
38
poor-
is not old.
I wish. But yeah, I just can't see what running.
I know.
Well,
He can do it. I mean, Call of the Wild, you do see him running in that.
well, what they'll probably do is it'll be like this, or he'll be like, "Here they come!" And they'll cut to a guy in a jacket and you just see him from the back.
When you just spun around, you know what you made me picture? It'll be like the running scenes from like the Batman 66 TV show. Yes, Scott, you got it. Yes, with him and Burt Ward going. They're like mom jogging at the mall.
Or like the old cowboys.
I'm getting a stitch in my side. I hope it's a stitch in time, Robin.
Yes.
I did happen to see
this. This is so great. We'll forgive you for Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Yes.
That was a fan film. He got roped into that. Okay, so if we're going to talk fan films, because I guess I'll try to derail to that one. Did anybody ever see the Power Rangers fan film that came out that had Kara Thrace from Battlestar Galactica, also plays Bitch Puddin' from Robot Chicken. Oh my god. John, do you remember her name? Sorry, okay, my kid don't remember her name either. Her and Dawson from Dawson's Creek. Oh, come on.
James Vanderbeek is that guy.
Yeah, Vanderbeek. And... Oh, okay, I'm going to
Google it. You're not talking Katie Sackhoff, are you?
Yes, Katie Sackhoff. This dude got Vanderbeek and Sackhoff and a bunch of other people to do his fan film, and it was awesome. There's two versions, one with nudie bits that got yanked right away, and one with no nudie bits. Not Katie's and not Vanderbeek's.
Darn it!
Yeah. Sorry. But it was such a well done fan film. It's like, that is what a fan film could be.
And then if the reboot Power just come out a year later.
Yes, yeah, and the fan film was better.
Yes.
It was amazingly good. And one of my favorite fan films ever, bringing it back to the Star Wars stuff and Mandalorian stuff, Kevin Rubio's Troops. If anybody has ever seen Kevin Rubio's Troops, Troops, if you haven't, you need to watch it like tonight, because it will make something in The Mandalorian stand out. It is Kevin Rubio. He was doing fan films like when they were on the cutting edge, and it was brand new stuff. We're talking like early 2000s, and it was a mashup between Star Wars and Cops. So it was, following some stormtroopers on Tatooine. We find out how Owen and Lars really died. Scott, you're going to love it because there's some MST3K people in there. They've got Max Servo and Crow as a couple of robots being stolen by Jawas. It is amazingly good. And just the banter with the stormtroopers. It is the banter that was stolen for the Biker Scouts in the episode of Mandalorian, where the two of them are talking when they have the child in the bag, and then they start shooting and they can't shoot for squat. And just like that playful banter, that was literally lifted from the playbook of Kevin Rubio, who also did write some Star Wars stuff at Dark Horse. If anybody's ever up for reading some good Star Wars stuff from Dark Horse, Tag and Bink are dead. So it's two rebel guys that get stuck in these crazy things. Anytime you see like two stormtroopers, like when Vader tell the two TIE pilots, you two come with me, basically, it was really Tag and Bink undercover, trying to get off there. And they bounced their way through the original Holy Trilogy in like an amazingly awesome, fun way. So yeah, check that out too. But Kevin Rubio's Troops, it's great.
And on that note, it is, John gets to wipe up the rear. It is 10:01 10:01 on the East Coast here. And we have had a fantastic show. The first half of our show, we discussed the Silverline world and how it could overlap and how we could continue to build our world and how we are building our world. And we also discussed and we thanked all of the supporters of Steam Patriots #1 and Divinity #2. You will be having those in your hands in a few Very shortly. I don't know if it's weeks. It should be not long at all. You'll have those in your hands. And thank you for everyone that's joined us at our new time. We are, of course, 8 to 10 Eastern. And if you're watching this not live, if you were watching a recorded version of the show, it is recorded before your live studio audience. That's not true. But if you're watching a recorded edition, go ahead and toss some comments up still. If you have questions, we love to answer those. And for all of our folks here that joined us, real quick, we've got to wrap up. I'm going to go around. I'm going to go to Jeremy, Barb, John, Brent, and say goodnight. Tell folks where they can find you and how they can follow you. So, Jeremy, go for it.
Yes. Good night. My name is Jeremy again. You can follow me on YouTube at AP Joy Paint. I should be uploading some new videos soon for covering videos, basically. And I'm also on Twitter at Jeremy M. Khan. And that's about it.
Cool. Thank you, sir. Barbara?
Barbara Kaelberg, that's Kaalberg, and you could just Google me because I'm the only Barbara Kaelberg on the internet. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, DeviantArt. So just Google me and find me.
Excellent. Thanks, Barb. John?
Hey everybody, thank you for letting me try to entertain you tonight. My name is John Medic, last name is spelled Metych, exactly how it does not look like it would be pronounced. Please come find me on Facebook, send me a friend request. You can also find us with Beta 3 Comics, which has been my publishing imprint that has joined the Silverline family. Beta 3 Comics on Facebook as well. Give us a like.
All right. Brent?
You can find me on Facebook. I'm one of many Brent Larsons, so good luck with that.
Well, you're the handsome.
You can find me on Instagram under Brent.Vector. And you can find me on my website, BrentTLarson.com. And that's more than you ever need.
That works. They can find you. And I'm Scott Wakefield, and I'm at Steam Patriots on Facebook and Instagram. After the flurry of activity during the Kickstarter campaign, I've slowed down quite a bit, but I'll try to get back at it. Steam Patriots, those should be in everybody's hands very soon, and I hope you love it. It will be mashed up flip-floppy with Barb's Divinity number 2. I'm very honored to be teamed up. And when you get those, shoot us some emails or messages or whatever. Tell us what you think. We should have those very soon. This has been Wednesday Wham, and we have been supported and sponsored by the Daytona Beach Comic Book Convention happening September 18th and 19th. Go over to their Facebook page. Barb will be there. Who else?
I am leaving
John will be
frozen north and coming to Florida.
Barb, we should talk. I wonder if we'll be on the same flight.
John coming from the frozen north.
Yeah.
I think Brent just walking out his door, walking down the street. He'll show up if he wants, if he feels
I'll
like it.
I'll probably take an Uber.
And I will be there as well. So I'm very excited. All of us coming from many, many miles away to beautiful Florida in September. And we're also brought to you by historycamp.org. On July 10th, they have their online history convention. If you love all things history, go to historycamp.org and sign up for their email notifications and register to join in on their convention. I think that is all we are brought to you by. We do have a podcast. So we're on all the streaming services as well, so you can catch this. If you missed anything, you can listen to it while you drive to work or work out or do anything where you need some entertainment. We're podcasting as well. Don't forget, Tuesday, I feel really bad. I don't know the time. There's a Tuesday show now for the, specifically catered to our West Coasters, and there is Silver Sunday. That is 8 to 10 p.m. on Sunday evening. Go to silverlinecomics.com. Go check out Silverline on Instagram and Facebook, and even LinkedIn to get all the updates. And go to silverlinecomics.com and scroll down to the titles, or go over to order or buy and order all of our comic books. You will enjoy them. So I think that's it. I think unless anybody's got any last minute thoughts, this has been our show, and it has been fun. Thank you to everybody here that has made it possible. And Mr. Producer, thank you very much. And that's our Wednesday show. So as always, make mine Silverline.
Silverline.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.